I'm here with the boys from Patriarch to talk about their upcoming new record. Prophet Elijah comes out January 3rd on Napalm Records. You guys don't understand, but this is an absolute honor for me to be sitting here with you guys to talk about this record, to talk about the music that you guys create. So thank you very much for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having
Thank
us.
you. Thank you.
So let's talk about this record. Let's start off before we talk about the record with the band. When you change the name and you're going with the name Patriarch, does that change for you guys at all? The mindset, the approach, does that change or add some fire within you to come out with an album that's even stronger than anything that you've done before?
Well, yeah, actually it's a huge change, apart from the, changing the name itself and, changing all the social media stuff. Because I'm gonna tell you, changing all the, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify's for the new name, it's a nightmare. It's a
Yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah, it's
Uh, yeah, we
yeah.
could talk about an hour.
I'm still fighting with the name change of the Instagram. It's
Yeah.
taking I think it's a 3 months and
Wow.
still ongoing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's World War IV. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But with the new
With the
name and
meta.
yeah, but with the new name and the new album, Prorokilya or Prophetia, we're driving into into unknown territory. It's a completely new album. It's a fresh start. It's a new music. It's a great story that we're telling the world about Elias Klimovich, the title Prorokilya.
Yeah, we
Yeah, and
yeah.
it's like, that the new name just allows us to do a lot more now. We're leaving all the legal stuff, on our backstage, and now we're all moving forward with the new name and the new stories.
Yeah. That's
I
that's
honestly like the attitude and I like where you guys are going with this. So when I sat down to listen to the record, obviously knowing it's a concept album, the first thing that I thought about was uh, how much research did you guys have to put in into this album in order for the concept of the album to be as truthful to the story of the person that you guys are bringing to life on this album?
it's everything is starting about the 90s when I watched the first time in Polish TV the theater play with the well-known Polish actors. It was Prorok Ilya, Prophet Ilya, and mm, then I started searching and thinking about this. That is, it's a great story to bring with our music, with extreme music.
Yeah, because the story
That would,
itself is really, really
yeah,
extreme and dark and, blasphemous.
heretical.
Yeah.
So it's all this addiction to the story. So it's starting in the 90s. It's the searching process and all these things with to go with the story. It's about the 7 or 8 years. Then I searching all these materials. I wrote the scenarios for the first, the lyrics for the songs from the first to the last one, and the feelings, the emotions that we want to put uh, the the songs that also was in the scenario. And then 2 years ago we start uh, the process of the musical arrangements, and then with the 5 months in recording session, and then we have the story we bring with the Patriarch, with the new sound, with the new name, and new start for us. We are out from the comfort zone because the Batushka, it's a more closet conceptual band, and the music is more ascetic and more monastic. The Patriarch brings a lot of addiction to the sound, with the folk instruments, with the female vocals, and all this. ethno stuff, but also with the cinematic music, also with the classical symphonic music. That's the story. That's the story of Elias Kimovic, also with the sound of our region, my region, especially Podlasie region, that the story has happened and was happening, and we are bring the something fresh, and I think it's something original in these days in a music scene.
The reason I'm smiling is because everything that you're saying is exactly what I said when I was recording my review yesterday about the record.
Super,
So it's like
super.
I
That's
like
our
Pre-recorded.
we are on the
that's
same wavelength. I feel like
yeah,
when
yeah.
I look at you
It's
guys in
our
the studio.
intentional. That
Yeah,
was intentionally. So it's when you say this that you are going with this with our story because we are taking for a hand
yeah,
and
exactly.
you going with us with our story, the musical story with the sound. You must listen to this album from the first to the last song,
Yeah, because
and
that makes the
then
most out of sense of the
No,
yeah,
album.
that
I agree. I agree. But also the way
yeah,
you guys built the record, the record is seamless as it moves from song to song.
Yeah, it's just
yeah,
one whole story.
Yeah,
yeah.
I use the words audiobook. I
Yeah,
feel
and
like
Yeah,
I
that's
was
yeah,
listening to an audiobook.
yeah,
yeah,
correct. That's the
exactly.
audiobook, that the theater play, that is radio play. It's mm, all this this words review this album because it's very specifical
Yeah.
and
We wanted to bring a story to life, not to record, another album, black metal album, doom metal album, or folk metal album, because you could use a lot of that terms
Mhm.
regarding the Patriarkh album. And it is mixture of everything, but the most important thing is like a whole story in a way of, yeah, you could say an audiobook. That's a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
word.
yeah. That's
I love the way you guys presented it because you got 8 chapters, but there's no break between
No.
yeah,
them. There's
yeah,
just a complete sense of sequence from beginning to end, which doesn't allow the listener to really pause and walk away because if it would be like
Mhm.
pausing a movie. Like you're completely immersed in the story, so you just kind of like I want to go through the experience all the way through.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. That was the whole point.
yeah,
The also there's one bonus song, Virtually 9. I think it's on the deluxe version of CDs and vinyls. But yeah, the main story, the first 8 songs, yeah, it's like one seamless story that, the listeners have to, spend some time, listen to it, because which is, someone could say it's not like the best move, nowadays in the music industry, because, the attention spam is so huge, people scrolling through TikToks, Instagrams, we take in a little bit different approach because in order to tell the whole story, you need to spend some time and, maybe search some info about it, which we encourage people a lot, to dig some info about the Elias Klimowicz himself, about the cult, about Poland, about Podlasie,
yeah. It's correct. It's a the invention of the intention of this album. Was it's you must devote to some time for this music, for this art. Please spend with us in our world. We invite our listeners to our new world, to our new story, and then you can uh, you can see the magic of this album.
I could not agree more. One question that I had, because obviously I don't speak Polish, so one question that I had was, I felt like there was a little bit, and this is why I'm asking it. I felt like there's some vocals on the album that almost feel to me, as a non-Polish speaker, as a narrator that's helping guide the sequence. Is that what
Yeah,
those
yes.
spoken word vocals are? Is that a narrator?
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, Adam Struk, he's very famous in Poland, and he's basically carrying the story and telling like what's happening before and after the song. And a lot of people ask us why we didn't translate it to English, because it would be a lot easier for everyone.
I know, but then it loses the whole essence
But
of the
yeah,
record.
yeah.
now
Correct,
it's
correct.
a
With the
lot more
stroke.
authentic. Yeah,
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 that
and then
way.
you lose the authenticity of the album.
yeah,
I don't think that's a good idea at
yeah,
all.
Yeah, and
yeah.
I think
Correct.
it wouldn't sound good in English because a lot of those words and sentences are pretty tough to translate to, still make any kind of sense. So we figured out we're gonna say it in Polish, And if someone, wants to learn what the hell is that narrator saying, well, you've got the internet. We can dig some info.
Yeah, no, listen, if I don't speak Polish and I can figure it out, there was a narrator, I'm sure everybody can get the idea of exactly what's
Hmm.
happening. I thought it was genius to have it that way because it even adds more to the whole audiobook experience of
Yeah.
the record. And I was really surprised by how cinematic and how epic the sound is on this album. To be honest with you guys, I was expecting a little bit of a more condensed, darker sounding
Hmm.
album, and you guys opened up the record tremendously with the sound.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
the whole process was so long. Bart spent like 5 months in studio, trying to figure out how to mix that because there's like over 1,000 tracks at some point, and putting everything in the mix so it still sounds good. Like the all the guitars, all the drums, all the vocals because there's a lot of vocals
a lot.
on the record, all the orchestrations, all the folk instruments. Like he was going crazy in the studio.
Yeah, yeah, correct. The production was crazy. At the end, that's all. I was in, it's like in schizophrenia or something
Yeah,
at the end. But
Arkham Asylum is waiting for you.
yeah, yeah, and but we are very happy with the result of this and all these folk instruments. We are not losing the organic sound. It's not not polished production, but also the was intentionally produced with this that it's not a pop album,
Mhm.
it's all this folk addiction was must sound organic. So
Yeah.
it's also it's so important to um, the side of production this album.
Two songs I want to mention to you guys because I thought the production on both were phenomenal in terms of what one gives and what one takes away. On chapter 5, that track is insane. I don't know how you guys did it because I felt like that track had this huge sound, like it's a massive track. But the middle, the nucleus of the track is so thick, it's so heavy, it's so dark that and it exists surrounded by this epicness. And one does not impact the other. I don't know how you guys pulled that off, but I thought that track is such an incredibly sounding track because it feels like there's two songs, one that encapsulates almost like that Russian doll where you take one and make
Yeah,
it
Matryoshka,
smaller one
yes.
inside.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That
It's
song I thought was tremendous.
Yeah, it's also, where we are thinking about the dynamic of the album. It's always the number five was the highest point
Yeah, like the
of the
peak of an
album,
album. Yeah,
like the
in
peak
terms
of
of
the album.
speed and the
It's
heaviness.
yes, yeah, it's like a storm because it's um, the Armageddon is coming. It's so
Basically, the
it's
end of the world.
the end of the world. Yeah, so it's why it's storming and attack you with the sound, with this epicness, and um, you know that this is something is coming with all this black metal blasts and epicness of the singing vocalist at the end.
I'm listening to that track and I'm like, I can see how they envisioned it, but how the fuck do you go from envisioning it to then record it? That to me seems like a lot of work went into putting that track together.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the second that we're gonna play it live, that's gonna be like
Mm.
massive. Oh,
Yeah,
massive.
I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah,
yeah. It reminds me in a way that's the song from Hospody album, Polunashnica, because the structure is quite similar, but not exactly. On that song live, people are going crazy. So I think on Virshalin 5, it's gonna be even better.
I
yeah,
agree. I think it's one of those songs that has to be on the set list regardless
Oh yeah.
yeah.
of what happens. And then the track
That,
that comes after, talk about the folk instruments. The track
yeah,
that comes after is it's
yeah.
such a switch because now you go from a song that's dominated by sound to a song that's dominated by vocals, where the folk instruments almost become just this very ambiance in the background. Beautiful
Yeah,
track.
yeah, correct. It's also about the emotions that we put in this songs. Also, we're thinking about after the highest point of the album. That must be some quiet and you are
Yeah, it's all about the
you
contrast on the
yeah,
album
yeah,
between the
yeah.
songs.
That's why we are put this song after the most blasting song on the album. But also it's fitting with the story. So all these points of the album, this this dynamic points of the album, is written in a story.
Even when you look, everything about this record is in the perfect spot. When I look at the track listing and I look at the second song after the intro, that second song sets the table for what the whole album is all about. If you look at the way that song sounds, it kind of gives you glimpses of what the sound of the rest of the album is going to be like. If you look at the vocal performance on that track, you get a little bit of an idea what the rest of that song is so important for a listener because it opens the door, but in a very welcoming way, so that all the changes that develop down the line become a little bit easier to understand because of that track setting it all up. So you guys did a phenomenal job from that standpoint.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you,
Yeah, yeah, I
thank you.
think the Versalin 2 is a really good opener for the album. And it's gonna be a really good opener for the shows as well. Because, we're gonna play after the album releases the whole album from the beginning to the end. Because, we have to play the album like that. Because it's one complete story. So we cannot just, pick some songs from different albums and, mix it on the set list. That wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah,
But yeah, and it's like a welcoming song, that you kind of have an idea what's going to happen, but not really. And actually, the Versalin 2 is gonna be the next single coming out with the
yeah,
video, so the people will have a pretty good idea about the whole album because it's gonna be Versalin 1, 2, 3, 4 out before the album release. Yeah, I think it
Excellent.
works pretty well.
Yeah. So with all
uh,
of these tracks, which side of the record was more difficult to nail? The sonic, the sound, or the vocal side?
I think the both of because when we are started working and the thinking about these things and mm, how we are bring this everything with the concept of the lyrical themes with all the story and what we are put with the sound and then when I thinking about this album I also thinking about my region especially because we are all this addiction that Slavic instruments like mandolin, mandocello, tagalharfa, it's hurdy-durdy or string daklimer. It's also my regional instruments and folk instruments that we used in the Slavic music, and it's also idea to put this music in the album because the story is happening in the Podlasia region, so it's all these things and also to put more cinematic to it will be easier for listeners to you know give attention for this album also. So all these things and building the whole picture of this album, and then when you're listening, you're going to our world and you're surrounding all these things, and you can thinking about all this with the story and sounds. You will be giving something authentical, I think.
You guys sometimes surprise yourselves by for a band from Poland that sings in your own language, that tells stories of your people. Are you surprised sometimes by how popular and how connected you've become with people who don't necessarily understand the language or understand the culture or know the stories at all? Does that surprise you?
It's all the concept of the Ariel Batushka and now is Patriarch. It's that we are not giving everything on the plate for the listeners. We are like messengers, and we are showing, the sacrum side of Orthodox and the profanum side of Orthodox. You must choose. You must search something. We are invite you to our world, and that's the core. of this. So it's it's English language. It's not will be fitting with this. So we must use the organic languages like Old Slavonic church language, like, like a Polish language. Now, like it's when we're showing the Romanian side of Orthodoxy, then our vocalist singing in Romanian, like in a Virshalin 4, in Greek also. And like in Virshalin 3, it's will be a Bulgarian side of Orthodoxy. So we are always will be building everything in the Orthodox, but we are adding something new and something own invention that will be always inspiring, but Orthodoxy, but we are will be building our world. So it's that's the main core and also main core of the new album.
You mentioned that you will be playing at live shows. You will be playing the record from start to end.
Yes.
What kind of impact is that going to have on your stage production, on what you plan on presenting to fans when you hit that stage?
Well, we've got some of the new stage props already. We're still figuring out, all the possibilities because we have to arrange the show around the album, all the choreography. It's really important for us to present it. It's not a typical concert you go to. It's more like a theatrical play in a way. So it all has to be, rehearsed. We play to a click track live. So, we know when everything is going on. We have to know the stage pretty well because there's like a lot of fire and stuff, at least where we can use the fire, because in a lot of venues they're like, no, sorry, you can't.
It's prohibited, yes.
Yeah, I think when we played in Canada, we couldn't use the fire.
No, but I'm telling you, it was one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you.
I
Yeah,
was
so
like,
imagine that with all the candles and fire,
oh,
that's like
I was
on another
totally in.
level.
You guys
Yeah.
Yeah,
had me. You guys had me. I was like, I love like the smell. It becomes
the
this.
incense.
Yeah, it becomes much larger than
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
music. It's an
yeah, it's like a
experience.
sensual thing. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
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 Oh,
You're
you
coming
had
to the
me 100%.
venue, you can smell the incense, and that that Patriarch is going to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not only about the music. So yeah, and we're working on the new stage ropes as well. Of course, we're gonna stay in like the orthodox, thematics. We're not going to put, some wild stuff. But we're evolving. We got some new stage props, as I said, on the stage already. And we're still figuring out, all the new stuff. We'll see. We'll see. It's still in the works.
It's will be a little sneak peek because in December it's will be we show the two live songs in the Patriarch. That will be a video for a Virshalin 3 and a Virshalin 4. It's from our last tour in Poland. You will be see what's will be happen, but not that's not will be a full hour show, but uh, what you have expect with our new show. But that's with our female vocalist, with the third guitarist player, also with the guy with the folk instruments. Also, that's our lineup is expanding
I was
with the
gonna say, like,
Patriarch.
you guys gonna need a big stage.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, yes.
You guys gonna what's your plans looking like for 2025? Do you guys already got some shows booked, some festivals?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So we are actually starting the year with the show with orchestra, the symphonic orchestra and real choir in Poland, in Łódź City, on the date of the album release. It's January 3rd. And that's gonna be a huge show, huge production. Then actually the next show is gonna be in Poland around February and March. We're gonna promote the new album, then some probably European tour around April, May. We booked on some festivals during the summer. I guess it's gonna be a lot more after the album is out. And for the gonna be probably the second part of the European tour later there. We're waiting, because we want to go to the States as soon as
Yeah,
possible. But with all the name change and stuff, it's making a lot harder to get the visas that we need to,
yeah, working with us. Yes,
yeah,
we
yeah.
must wait 1 year for this. So that's why it's that will be a North American tour will be moving. I think it's for 2026. But for sure, that was happen in the next month. And yeah, we're waiting. We are very exciting with the release of the new album, and uh, that will be a new, fresh part of the story with our Orthodox music.
I love what you guys are doing. I cannot wait for 2026 to see you guys. I hope to maybe catch you guys somewhere in 2025 because I'm dying to see this whole record played out live. Big fan of the album, big fan of the band. I really love what you guys are doing. So I just want to say thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you
And
you.
so much
it
for
was
the
a
kind words.
pleasure. This was a pleasure, an honor for me to sit down with you guys and to have had already
Thank
the
you.
pleasure to listen to the album.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
for support that you are giving us, and I hope that we see on the road. So thank
Totally.
you.
Take care, guys.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Have a great day.